Imagine standing at the gates of destiny, only to be turned away. Yet, in that very moment, the seeds of your ultimate triumph are sown. Welcome to a tale where setbacks become stepping stones and battles lost pave the way for empires won. This is the tale of Napoleon at Acre's gates. With the majestic pyramid standing witness, Napoleon had just delivered a crushing blow to the Mamluks at the Battle of the Pyramids. Cairo was in his grip, and the gateway to the east beckoned. However, an unforeseen obstacle had arisen, casting a shadow over Napoleon's grand strategy, the devastating loss of the French fleet at the Battle of the Nile. In the waters of Aboukir Bay, Admiral Horatio Nelson, leading the British Royal Navy, had unleashed havoc upon the anchored French fleet, decisively defeating them and ensuring British naval supremacy in the Mediterranean. This maritime defeat was more than just a loss of ships, it severed Napoleon's direct line of communication and supply back to France, isolating his expeditionary force in Egypt and leaving it vulnerable. Yet, the larger chessboard of geopolitics was in play, and the Ottoman Empire, sensing an opportunity given the weakened French position, loomed large. Encouraged by the British and irked by the French incursion into their territories, the Ottomans mobilized their forces. You see, the Ottomans, allied with the British, posed a formidable threat to Napoleon's ambitions. If he could subdue the Ottoman territories, he could cripple the British influence in the east, potentially paving a path to India. Yet, with the Royal Navy prowling the Mediterranean after the Battle of the Nile, direct confrontations at sea were risky. Hence, land conquests became even more critical for Napoleon. And in this grand strategy, the coastal fortress city of Acre was the linchpin. Acre wasn't just a city, it was a symbol of dominance and a key to further conquests, possibly even Constantinople. With its strategic location, fortified defenses, and its role as a gateway to the Levant, it was a prize Napoleon coveted deeply, especially given the need to score a significant victory to offset the naval setback at the Nile. As Napoleon approached Acre in 1799, he was met with challenges that were both anticipated and unexpected. The city, a bastion of the Ottoman Empire's defense, was surrounded by formidable walls that had withstood countless sieges over the centuries. Commanding the city's defenses was Ahmet Pasha, a skilled and determined Ottoman commander who understood the symbolic and strategic importance of Acre. But it wasn't just the Ottomans that Napoleon had to contend with. A thorn in his side, Sir Sidney Smith of the British Royal Navy, played a masterstroke. Utilizing his naval prowess, Smith intercepted and captured several French siege cannons, crucial artillery pieces Napoleon was counting on to breach Acre's walls. This wasn't just a loss of hardware, it was a significant blow to morale. The French forces now faced the daunting task of breaching a heavily fortified city without their most potent siege weapons. When the siege began, the French artillery, though lacking in its full strength, bombarded Acre's walls relentlessly. Yet, the city's defenses, enhanced over the years and strengthened by the presence of British naval guns, repelled these bombardments effectively. Trials outside its walls mirrored the challenges inside the city. French infantrymen, under the leadership of their indomitable general, launched several assaults trying to find a weak spot, a breach, a hint of a breakthrough. Yet, each time, they were met with a hail of musket fire, arrows, and artillery, repulsing them back to their trenches. As days turned into weeks, the situation grew dire not just due to the fierce resistance but also because of an unseen enemy, disease. Whispers of the plague began to circulate in the French camps. Soldiers, already exhausted by the continuous fighting, began to fall ill. The shadow of death, not just from Ottoman and British bullets but from disease, started to loom over the French forces. Desperate for a breakthrough, Napoleon ordered mining operations. Tunnels were dug, attempting to go underneath the city's walls and blow them up from below. But even these desperate measures were thwarted by the vigilant defenders. After over 60 days of relentless battle, with the city showing no signs of capitulating and his army's morale and health deteriorating rapidly, Napoleon was faced with a harsh reality. His vision of a swift conquest of the East, symbolized by the capture of Acre, was fading. Reluctantly, and recognizing the futility of further bloodshed, he ordered the retreat. Acre, a symbol of resistance and a testament to the combined might of the Ottoman and British defense, remained unconquered. For Napoleon, who had seen countless victories, the walls of Acre served as a humbling reminder of the unpredictability of warfare. With the walls of Acre receding in the distance, a pensive Napoleon led his troops back towards Egypt. The fortress city had thwarted his ambitions, but this setback was a mere chapter in a grander narrative. For even as his dreams in the East encountered obstacles, the winds of change were blowing in distant Europe. Back in Egypt, the French faced a renewed threat, a formidable Ottoman English force intent on reclaiming Egypt. At Abu Qir, Napoleon confronted them, and the Battle of Abu Qir in 1799 saw a decisive French victory. This military success somewhat offset the sting of Acre and reasserted French dominance in Egypt, if only for a brief moment. However, even as he was immersed in the affairs of the East, news reached Napoleon of tumultuous events back home. The Directory, the governing body of France, was faltering amidst political intrigues and economic challenges. France was ripe for change, and Napoleon, ever the opportunist, saw a new horizon for his ambitions. Realizing that his real theater of influence lay not in the deserts of Egypt but in the power corridors of Paris, Napoleon made a swift decision. Leaving his trusted general, Jean-Baptiste Kleber, in charge of the French forces in Egypt, he set sail for France. His return was nothing short of triumphant. The tales of his eastern conquests, especially the Battle of the Pyramids, were relayed with fervor and awe. While Acre was a setback, Napoleon masterfully controlled the narrative, positioning himself as a national hero who had expanded French influence and knowledge. But Napoleon wasn't just returning as a hero, he was coming back as a player in the political arena. The unstable Directory provided the perfect backdrop for his ambitions. Through a series of political maneuvers and alliances, notably with Emmanuel Joseph Sieyès, a leading figure of the Directory, Napoleon was at the forefront of the Brumaire coup in November 1799. This coup led to the fall of the Directory and the establishment of the consulate, with Napoleon as first consul, solidifying his ascent to power. In just a few years, this position would pave the way for his coronation as Emperor of the French in 1804. So, when we look back at that siege at Acre, where Napoleon faced one of his rare defeats, we realize it wasn't the end. Instead, it was just the beginning. The beginning of a chapter where a setback on foreign shores rippled back to set the foundation for one of the most powerful empires Europe had ever seen. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the past, feel the rush of history, and the intrigue of politics, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more historical tales that have shaped our world. And remember, every setback might just be setting the stage for something even grander. Until next time, keep the wheels of time turning.